Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Oh,
Today we're digging into, well, an ancient story from the Book of Esther. It's absolutely packed with twists, huge decisions, and a really surprising hero.
it really is.
Our mission here is to pull out the key insights from this, well, incredibly dramatic narrative, give you a shortcut to understanding what was a pretty pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Power, prejudice, a real fight for survival. It's all in there.
And what's fascinating, I think, is that it's more than just a story. It's like a window, isn't it, into the politics, the social norms, the sheer courage that really shaped a whole people's future.
Yeah.
Get ready for some maybe aha moments you weren't quite expecting. It connects in ways that are still relevant.
Okay, let's get into it then. We're in the Persian Empire. Huge, under King Ahasuerus.
Right, Xerxes, some scholars believe.
His kingdom stretched, get this, from India all the way over to Ethiopia. Massive. And his throne was in Shushan, the palace complex there.
A global superpower of its day, really.
And the story kicks off with just incredible extravagance. Third year of his reign, Ahasuerus throws this feast for 180 days.
180 days.
For all his nobles, showing off the, quote, riches of his glorious kingdom.
Just imagine the logistics.
And then right after that, a 7-day feast for everyone in the capital, Shushan, held in the palace gardens.
Right.
The description is amazing. White, green, blue hangings, fine linen cords, purple silver rings, marble pillars, beds of gold and silver on this mosaic pavement, red, blue, white, black marble,
Pure luxury over the top.
royal wine flowing from gold cups, all different. And here's the detail I find interesting. None did compel them to drink. They respected every man's pleasure.
That is interesting. Even amidst this display of total power, a nod to individual limits. But overall, it's not just a party, is it?
Well,
It's projecting power. It's saying, look at me, look at my empire. I am absolute.
yeah, total assertion of authority.
But see how quickly that gets challenged by just one person unexpectedly.
Exactly. Seventh day of that second feast, the king's, let's say, merry with wine.
Right. He's had a few.
He orders his chamberlains, there are 7, named, to bring Queen Vashti. Bring her wearing her royal crown so he can show off her beauty to everyone.
A command performance, basically.
But Queen Vashti, she refuses. Just says no.
Wow.
Publicly.
Seemed so. And the king, as you'd expect, was very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
Okay, so crisis time for the king.
Yeah.
This is public defiance from the queen. How does he handle this? You can't just ignore that.
He consults his advisors, the 7 princes, the wise men which knew the times.
His inner circle.
And one of them, Memucan, steps up. He frames it cleverly. He says, look, this isn't just an insult to you, king. It's an insult to all the princes, all the people.
How so?
Because, he argues, if word gets out the queen defied the king, well, all the wives in the empire might start showing contempt and wrath towards their husbands.
Ah, the old slippery slope argument, protecting the patriarchy.
Pretty much. So, the solution. Memucan proposes a royal decree, an unalterable one, can't be changed.
Vashti is banished, never to come before the king again, and her royal position given unto another that is better than she. Ouch.
Harsh.
And this decree gets sent out everywhere, every province in every local language, stating that every man should bear rule in his own house.
So personal spat becomes imperial law. It really shows how the personal and political were just completely intertwined. A king's anger shapes social policy across continents.
Wild. So Vashti's out. The king's anger cools down eventually, and his servants say, hey, maybe we should find you a new queen. The plan. Let there be fair young virgins sought for the king from all the provinces.
Like basically a kingdom-wide casting call.
And it's quite the process. They're brought to Shushan, to the house of the women, under a guy named Hedge, the king's chamberlain.
Okay.
And they go through this 12-month purification. Seriously, 6 months with oil of myrrh, 6 months with perfumes and cosmetics.
A whole year of preparation.
Then each one gets 1 night with the king.
Just one.
Just one. Then they go to the second house of the women where the concubines live, under another chamberlain, Shashgaz. They only go back to the king if he specifically delighted in her and she were called by name.
It's brutal, isn't it? It just hammers home the king's power and how these women were treated as objects. No agency at all. Just waiting to be chosen or discarded.
Absolutely. And into this scene steps Mordecai. He's described as a certain Jew from Shushan,
Okay.
a Benjamite. His family was part of the group exiled from Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar years earlier.
So part of the Jewish diaspora in Persia.
Exactly. And he had adopted his orphan cousin, Hadassah. We know her as Esther, described as fair and beautiful.
Esther. Okay, here we go.
And Mordecai gives her a very specific instruction. Don't tell anyone your people or your family background. Keep your Jewish identity secret.
That's going to be important, I suspect. It's a secret that puts her in a precarious position, but maybe also gives her options, or at least a different path.
We'll see. So Esther, following Mordecai's command, is taken into the king's harem under Haggai.
Right.
And she immediately obtained kindness of him. He likes her, gives her special treatment, the best food, 7 maids, the best spot in the house of the women.
She makes a good impression. Smart.
When her turn comes to go to the king, she doesn't ask for anything special, just takes what Haggai advises. And apparently she obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her.
Interesting. There's something about her.
And so, 7th year of Ahasuerus, 10th month, Tebeth, Esther is taken to the king.
The big moment.
And the king loved Esther above all the women. He was captivated. So much so, he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti.
Wow. From orphan to queen. Just like that.
He throws a huge feast, Esther's feast, gives gifts, declares a holiday for the provinces.
She's queen.
But she still keeps her secret, her Jewish identity, just as Mordecai told her.
That secret is just hanging there, isn't it?
It is. Now, fast forward a bit. Mordecai is often sitting at the king's gate. Maybe he has some minor official role. It's not totally clear.
Yeah.
And while he's there, he overhears 2 of the king's chamberlains, guards, basically, Bigthan and Teresh. They're angry about something, and they're plotting to assassinate the king.
Whoa. Okay, palace intrigue.
Mordecai, being loyal, gets word to Queen Esther.
Using his connection.
Esther tells the king, making sure to say it came from Mordecai, in Mordecai's name.
Important detail. Giving credit.
The plot is investigated. It's true. The 2 plotters are hanged.
Justice served.
And this whole incident, crucially, was written in the Book of the Chronicles before the king. The official records.
Right, logged in the history books, but maybe forgotten or just filed away. Yeah. It's fascinating how these small details, recorded but maybe not acted upon immediately, can suddenly become massive later, like a little Chekhov's gun planted in the records.
Exactly. Because after these things, the king promotes someone else entirely. Haman, son of Hammedatha the Agagite.
Haman, okay, the name sounds ominous already.
He promotes him way up, above all the princes, makes him like the prime minister.
Second in command.
And the king issues a command. All royal servants at the gate must bow down to Haman, show him reverence.
Standard practice for someone of that rank, probably.
But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
Uh-oh. Why not?
When the other officials ask him why he's disobeying the king's command, he tells them because he was a Jew.
Okay, so it's a religious or cultural objection for him. Maybe bowing that low felt like worship due only to God, or maybe something specific about Haman being an Agagite, an old enemy of Israel.
The text just says he was a Jew, so Haman finds out not only that this guy Mordecai isn't bowing, but why. And he is full of wrath.
Right. This is where it gets really chilling. Haman's bruised ego isn't satisfied with just punishing Mordecai, the one guy who slighted him.
No.
He learns Mordecai is Jewish. And so Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were in throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai.
It escalates incredibly fast, from personal insult to genocide.
It's terrifying. It shows how easily prejudice can latch onto an incident and just explode into something monstrous.
Haman acts quickly, too. 1st month, Nisan, 12th year of the king's reign. He casts Pur, which means the lot, like rolling dice.
To find the right day.
Yeah, to find an auspicious day for this. Annihilation. The lot falls on the 13th day of the 12th month, Adar.
Yeah.
Almost a year away.
Okay, so he has a date.
Then he goes to the king, makes his pitch. He says, there's this certain group of people scattered through your kingdom. Their laws are different from everyone else's. They don't keep your laws, king. It's not profitable for you to let them continue.
Vague accusations, otherness, disloyalty, the classic playbook.
He doesn't even name them initially. And then he adds the clincher. If it pleases the king, let it be written that they be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver into the king's treasuries.
He's offering a massive bribe, basically funding the genocide himself.
And the king's response, it's terrifyingly casual.
Yeah.
He takes off his signet ring, the symbol of his authority, used to seal decrees.
The one he probably gave Esther when he married her? No, wait, that was later with Mordecai. This is his ring.
His ring. He gives it to Haman and says, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with him as it seemeth good to thee.
Just like that. No questions asked. No investigation. Just, sure, kill them all. Keep the money. It's absolutely chilling. Shows a staggering level of indifference or maybe trust in Haman or just callousness about a minority group.
So, letters are drafted immediately, sealed with the king's ring, making them official and irreversible.
Oh, right. That earlier decree about Vashti established that precedent. What's sealed is sealed.
Sent out by royal messengers, the fastest ones, to all 127 provinces,
The command.
to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day,
One single day.
upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
Authorizing not just murder, but looting, too. State-sanctioned massacre and plunder.
This decree gets published everywhere. Everyone knows.
How did people react?
The text says the city of Shushan was perplexed,
Yeah,
confused, maybe disturbed.
but powerless.
Seems so. Meanwhile, the king and Haman sat down to drink.
Wow, the contrast is just stark. Genocide decreed, and they're having drinks.
So what does this mean for the Jews across the empire?
Mm-hmm.
Disaster, utter terror.
Unimaginable.
When Mordecai finds out, he tears his clothes, puts on sackcloth, and ashes, the traditional signs of deep mourning and distress.
Right, a public display.
He goes into the city center, crying loudly, bitterly. And it's not just him. Across all the provinces, the news spreads. Great mourning among the Jews, and fasting and weeping and wailing.
A whole people plunged into despair, facing annihilation.
Word reaches Queen Esther in the palace about Mordecai. She's exceedingly grieved. She sends clothes out to him, probably wanting him to stop the public display, maybe worried it'll draw bad attention.
But he refuses them.
Yeah, he's not stopping his protest. So Esther sends Hadach, one of her trusted chamberlains, to find out exactly what's wrong.
Okay, she needs information.
Mordecai tells Hadach everything. The whole plot, Haman, the decree, even the 10,000 talents of silver Haman offered.
Spills the beans.
He gives Hadach a copy of the actual decree that was published in Shushan. And he gives him a message for Esther, a charge.
What is it?
That she should go in unto the king, to make supplication unto him, and to make request before him for her people.
He wants her to intervene, use her position.
But Esther, she hesitates. And you can see why.
It's dangerous, right?
Extremely. She sends Hadach back to Mordecai with a reminder. Look, everyone knows the rule. Anyone, man or woman, who goes into the king's inner court without being summoned.
Death penalty.
Death, except if the king holds out the golden scepter, then they live. And she adds, but I haven't been called to come into the king for 30 days.
So she has no guarantee of safety. She could be killed just for showing up uninvited. And the fact she hasn't been summoned for a month might mean she's out of favor too. It's a massive risk.
Huge. But Mordecai's reply, it's powerful. He sends back, don't think for a second that you, in the king's house, will escape any more than all the other Jews.
No.
Because if you stay completely silent at this time, then relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place.
God maybe, or some other means.
But you and your father's house will be destroyed. And then the killer line. And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this.
Wow. That's the challenge, isn't it? It's not just about survival, it's about purpose. Destiny. Moral obligation. This is her moment. Use your power, your position, for your people, even at great personal risk.
It's the turning point for her, isn't it? The aha moment.
Absolutely. She has to choose.
And Esther's response is just incredible. Full of courage now. She sends back to Mordecai, go gather all the Jews in Shushan and fast for me. Don't eat or drink for 3 days, night or day.
Calling for communal prayer and support.
I and my maidens will fast too. And then I will go in to the king, which is not according to the law, and then famously, and if I perish, I perish.
Chills. Just absolute resolve. She accepts the potential cost.
So they fast for 3 days. Then on the third day, Esther puts on her royal robes, her best attire.
Preparing herself.
She goes and stands in the inner court of the king's palace, right opposite the king's throne room. He's sitting on his throne.
It's a moment of truth.
The king sees her standing there, and she obtained favor in his sight.
Relief.
He holds out the golden scepter that's in his hand.
Mhm.
Esther approaches and touches the top of the scepter. She's safe.
Okay. Step 1, successful.
The king asks her, what is it, Queen Esther? What's your request? It shall be given to you, even to the half of the kingdom.
He's clearly pleased to see her, offers her anything.
But Esther, she doesn't blurt it all out. She plays it cool.
Smart. What does she ask for?
She says, if it seems good to the king, let the king and Haman come today to the banquet that I have prepared for him.
Just invites him and Haman to dinner. That's it.
That's it.
Interesting strategy. Delaying the reveal. Why do you think she does that?
Maybe she needs the right moment. Maybe build suspense. Maybe give circumstances time to shift.
Yeah, that's brilliant, actually. It creates tension. And as we'll see, it buys crucial time for, well, let's call it Providence.
So the king says, great, get Haman here quickly. They go to Esther's banquet.
Okay.
At the banquet, wine flowing again, the king asks her again, what's your petition, Queen Esther? It'll be granted. What's your request? Even half the kingdom, I'll do it.
He's really eager to please her.
But again, she deflects. She says, my petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it pleases the king to grant my petition, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them tomorrow, and I will do tomorrow as the king has said.
Another delay.
Yeah.
Invites them back for a second dinner. She's really drawing this out. Haman must be feeling pretty important getting double invites with the king from the queen.
Oh, Haman leaves that first banquet absolutely buzzing. Joyful and with a glad heart, the text says.
On top of the world.
He goes home, calls his wife Zeresh and all his friends together.
Yeah.
He boasts about everything, his riches, his many sons, how the king promoted him, and yeah, Esther the queen, let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared but myself, and tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king.
Total gloating.
But then he adds, yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate.
Wow. One guy refusing to bow just completely poisons all his success and happiness. His ego is that fragile.
His wife Zeresh and his friends have some advice. They say, why wait? Build a gallows. Make it really tall, 50 cubits high. That's like 75 feet.
It's huge. Unmissable.
And tomorrow morning, speak to the king, get permission to hang Mordecai on it, then go merrily with the king to the banquet.
Get rid of the irritant first, then enjoy your dinner.
Haman loves the idea. The thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. Gets it built that evening.
The stage is set for Mordecai's doom, it seems.
But then, on that night, could not the king sleep?
The insomnia strikes.
He can't sleep, so he commands someone to bring the Book of Records of the Chronicles, the official royal diary, basically, and read it to him.
Random bedtime reading.
Apparently. And as they're reading, they come across the entry about...
Let me guess. Bigthan and Teresh?
Exactly. About how Mordecai had uncovered the plot and saved the king's life.
The forgotten good deed, resurfacing at the perfect time. The synchronicity is just unbelievable. A sleepless night, a random reading, and this record pops up just as Haman is probably getting ready to ask for Mordecai's execution.
Right. The king asks his attendants, what honor and dignity hath been done to Mordecai for this?
Good question.
And the king's servants say, nothing hath been done for him.
He saved the king's life and got zero reward. Wow, okay.
Tough then. The king hears someone in the outer court. Who is in the court? He asks. Well, who should it be?
Haman.
Haman. He's just arrived to ask the king about hanging Mordecai on the gallows he just built.
The timing is exquisite. Dramatic irony overload.
The king says, let him come in. Haman enters. Before Haman can say a word, the king asks him a question.
Okay.
The king asks, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor?
Oh, this is beautiful. Haman's gonna think.
Haman thinks in his heart, whom would the king delight to honor more than myself? Of course it's me.
His ego is just spectacular.
So Haman lays it on thick. He says, for the man the king delights to honor, let them bring the royal apparel, which the king usually wears, and the horse that the king rides upon, the one with the royal crown set on its head.
The king's own robes, his own horse.
Yep. And let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man whom the king delights to honor, and bring him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor.
Basically, a massive public parade, led by a top noble, treating him like the king himself for a day. Haman's designing his own triumph.
Exactly. And the king listens to all this, and then says to Haman, make haste, take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew that sitteth at the king's gate.
Oh my word, can you imagine Haman's face?
Must have been priceless. And the king adds, let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken. Do everything you just described. For Mordecai.
The humiliation. Haman has to orchestrate this incredibly lavish public honor for the very man he was about to execute, the man whose existence ruins his happiness. It's perfect poetic justice.
So Haman has to do it. He takes the robes, the horse, finds Mordecai, dresses him up, puts him on the horse, and leads him through the city, shouting, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor.
Incredible. What happens after?
Mordecai goes back to the king's gate, probably quite pleased. Haman. He hasted to his house mourning and having his head covered, utterly dejected.
Crushed.
He tells his wife Zeresh and his friends everything that happened, and their reaction is telling.
What do they say?
They say, if Mordecai, before whom thou hast begun to fall, be of the seed of the Jews, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shalt surely fall before him.
Wow, even his own advisors see the writing on the wall. It's over for him. It's like they sense a higher power at work, shifting the balance.
And while they're still talking, the king's chamberlains arrive.
Time for dinner.
Yep, time for Esther's second banquet. They hurry Haman off to the palace.
The final showdown.
So the king and Haman are at Esther's second banquet. Again, the king asks her, "What is your petition, Queen Esther? It shall be performed. Half the kingdom."
He's still offering. Will she finally tell him?
This time, yes. She takes a deep breath, probably. "If I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request."
My life? And my people? He must be confused.
She continues, "For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. If we had just been sold as slaves, I would have held my tongue, because that wouldn't be worth troubling the king."
But this is annihilation.
The king is shocked, furious. He demands, "Who is he and where is he?" That Durst presumed in his heart to do so. "Who would dare threaten my queen?"
He didn't connect the dots between the decree Haman pushed and Esther herself.
Not until this moment, Esther points. The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman.
Boom! The reveal. Haman must be absolutely terrified, caught red-handed.
The text says, "Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen."
I bet he was. The king's reaction.
Pure rage. He gets up from the banquet in fury, goes out into the palace garden to cool off, maybe think.
Haman's left there with Esther?
Haman stands up to plead for his life from Queen Esther because he sees that the king has already decided his fate. It's over.
Desperate move.
The king comes back from the garden into the banquet hall. And what does he see? Haman has fallen onto the couch where Esther is reclining, pleading, probably grabbing at her robes.
Oh, that looks bad.
The king misinterprets it completely, or maybe pretends to. He exclaims, "Will he force the queen also before me in the house?" Accuses him of assaulting her right there.
The final nail in Haman's coffin.
As soon as the words leave the king's mouth, the attendants cover Haman's face. That's the signal. He's condemned.
Wow. Swift.
Then one of the chamberlains, Harbona, remember him? Maybe one who escorted Haman, speaks up. Perfect timing again.
What does he say?
He says, "Behold also, the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman." He points out the conveniently available execution device.
Twisting the knife. Using Haman's own plan against him.
The king's command is simple. Hang him thereon.
Hoist by his own petard. Literally.
So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. And only then, the text says, was the king's wrath pacified.
Incredible reversal. The villain gets his exact comeuppance.
So on that same day, the king gives Haman's entire estate, his house and wealth, to Queen Esther.
Compensation, perhaps.
Then Esther finally tells the king about Mordecai, what he was unto her, that he's her cousin and foster father.
The full truth comes out?
The king calls Mordecai in. He takes off that signet ring, the one he'd given Haman, and gives it to Mordecai.
Wow. Mordecai is now the prime minister. Instant promotion to the highest office.
And Esther appoints Mordecai to manage Haman's former estate.
So Haman is gone, Mordecai's up, Esther is safe. Problem solved.
Not quite. There's still the matter of that first decree.
Ah, right. The one ordering the destruction of the Jews, sealed with the king's ring. It couldn't be reversed, you said.
Exactly. Persian law. What's written and sealed by the king may no man reverse.
So the kill order is still technically active. That's terrifying.
Esther realizes this. She goes before the king again, weeping, falls at his feet, pleading with him to somehow reverse the letters devised by Haman, which he wrote to destroy the Jews.
But he just said it can't be reversed.
The king acknowledges that. He tells Esther and Mordecai, look, I gave Haman's house to Esther. I hanged him because he attacked the Jews. But a decree sealed with my ring can't be undone. However, he gives them the solution.
What is it?
He says, write ye also for the Jews, as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring.
A counter decree. They can't cancel the first one, but they can issue a new one. Clever workaround.
Exactly. So Mordecai gets the royal scribes working. It's now the 23rd day of the third month, Savan. They write new letters, addressed to all the officials, governors, princes of the 127 provinces, from India to Ethiopia, in every script, every language. and specifically to the Jews in their own script and language.
What does this new decree say?
It grants the Jews in every city the king's permission to gather themselves together and to stand for their life.
Permission to defend themselves.
Yes, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
So basically mirroring the language of Haman's decree, but turning it around. They have the right to fight back against anyone who attacks them on that specific day.
Exactly. The day is still the 13th of Adar. This new decree is sealed with the king's ring, sent out by the fastest couriers on the best royal horses.
So everyone gets the message. The Jews have the king's backing to defend themselves.
The decree is published everywhere, so the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies.
A complete turnaround. From helpless victims to empowered defenders.
So the fateful day arrives, the 13th of Adar, and the text says it was turned to the contrary. Instead of the Jews being destroyed, the Jews had rule over them that hated them.
How did it play out?
The Jews gathered in their cities throughout the provinces to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, to attack their attackers. No man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people, even the local rulers, the satraps, the governors, the officials. They helped the Jews.
Why?
Because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. Everyone knew Mordecai was now the top guy, great in the king's house, his fame spreading. Siding against the Jews was clearly siding against the new prime minister.
Practical politics wins the day there.
So the results. In Shushan, the palace complex itself, the Jews struck down 500 men.
Fierce fighting.
Then Esther makes another request to the king. She asks for Haman's 10 sons, who were presumably killed in the fighting, to be hanged publicly on the gallows, and for the Jews in Shushan to be allowed to fight again the next day, the 14th.
The second day? Why? And hanging the sons, that seems harsh.
The text doesn't explain her motives fully. Maybe to make an example, ensure the threat was truly neutralized in the capital. The king grants both requests. Haman's 10 sons, their names are listed, are hanged.
Okay.
Another 300 men are killed in Shushan on the 14th. Meanwhile, out in the provinces, the fighting happened only on the 13th. The Jews there struck down 75,000 of their enemies.
Huge numbers. A major conflict.
And this is stated explicitly and repeatedly in all this fighting, in Shushan and the provinces, the Jews laid not the hand on the prey.
Ah, they didn't take the loot, even though the decree allowed them to. That is significant, isn't it? It distinguishes their actions. It wasn't about plunder or gain.
Right. It frames it as purely self-defense, stopping those who intended to harm them, not opportunistic violence.
That makes their actions seem more like carrying out justice against aggressors than just warfare.
So, after the fighting, in the provinces, they fought on the 13th, so they rested on the 14th of Adar, making it a day of feasting and gladness.
Celebrate.
In Shushan, they fought on the 13th and 14th, so they rested on the 15th, making that day a day of feasting and gladness.
So 2 different dates for the celebration, depending on where you lived.
Initially, yeah. Then Mordecai writes letters to all the Jews, everywhere.
To do what?
To establish these days officially, that they should keep both the 14th day of Adar and the 15th day every year.
Why both?
As the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and to remember the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day.
A complete reversal of fortune.
The celebration should involve feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor.
Community, sharing, charity. Key elements.
And these days were called Purim.
After the the lot that Haman cast, taking the instrument of their planned destruction and turning it into the name of their deliverance. That's powerful.
Queen Esther also wrote with Mordecai, confirming these matters of Purim with all authority, sending letters with words of peace and truth, establishing it formally as a memorial.
So it wasn't just a folk custom, it was officially instituted.
To be kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, an enduring remembrance. It really did become a testament to resilience, didn't it? That courage and maybe a bit of luck or providence could completely flip the script.
Absolutely. A story passed down for millennia.
The book finishes briefly by mentioning King Ahasuerus imposing tribute, probably taxes, across his empire, land and sea.
Back to imperial business.
And it reaffirms Mordecai's position. Next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth or welfare of his people, and speaking peace to all his seed. A good leader.
A positive end note for him and his people.
And all these acts, his greatness, Esther's role, the whole story, are recorded, it says, in the Book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Media and Persia, anchoring it in official history. at least as the book presents it.
Right.
Wow, what a story we've just walked through, the Book of Esther. I mean, from those insane banquets and Queen Vashti's defiance,
Right at the start.
through the hidden identity, Haman's horrifying plot, and then that absolutely stunning reversal. Courage, strategy, timing, and just those unbelievable moments of chance, or maybe not chance.
It's packed, isn't it?
We've definitely pulled out some key nuggets here about leadership, especially in a crisis. The sheer danger of prejudice when it gets power.
And the power of one person's bravery, Esther's choice, Mordecai's persistence.
And how even when things look absolutely hopeless, strategy, faith, maybe just weird coincidences can lead to deliverance.
And looking beyond the story itself, it really does make you think about resilience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The human capacity to endure, to fight back, and how remembering these past struggles, turning potential tragedy into celebration like Purim, becomes a source of strength for the future.
Yeah.
It shows how even people who seem powerless, like an orphan girl in a king's harem, can find agency and change history through courage and, well, smart maneuvering.
So for you, our listener, maybe something to chew on. A final provocative thought. How often do those small, maybe unnoticed acts of loyalty or kindness like Mordecai saving the king's life just filed away in some record? How often do they quietly set the stage for massive shifts later on? Just waiting for the right moment, maybe a sleepless night, to be brought back into the light and change absolutely everything.
Makes you wonder what little things happening now might have huge consequences down the line, doesn't it? What unseen threads are being woven.
Exactly. Food for thought.